like that. No intro. No
Broadcast
intro
professionals at this point,
required.
baby.
We are professionals. We haven't done this in a minute, I feel like, but
It feels weird.
Feels weird,
I
right?
feel nervous right now.
No, don't be, Cody. You know what? You
Yeah.
want to know why you shouldn't be nervous?
Why is that, pal?
When you're lost in the darkness, what do you look for?
Oh, do I look for the light?
You look for the light. That's what you're gonna do.
Oh, boy.
Oh yeah. What's up,
Do
everybody?
this podcast in the dark.
Woo! Welcome. Hello, everybody out there watching us live. Or hey, you know what? This is gonna be an audio form too. If you're listening on the podcast, what up?
Yeah.
What up?
Do we beat Bucks on the podcast? That's what
they say YouTube is
for
important
the audio folks
for like the first few minutes. So
fair.
That's what they need. They need that.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Cody. Welcome back.
Hey,
We're
buddy.
back. We're back.
Yeah. It's been a minute since I've talked to the people watching. It's been a minute since I've talked to you, sir.
Yeah.
All right. This might be our first like vocal conversation we've had in like a month.
Oh yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, in like a month. How's it feel?
Yeah.
You miss me?
I like just talking to you through text. I don't know. This
Yeah, I
feels
mean,
weird.
it's
Let's get back. Let's have
Yeah,
Let's have
you
a
don't
whole
respond
podcast just
once.
in text form.
Yeah, I mean, there's a market.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a market. Just like
have you
there's a
tried
market.
the chat GBT, whatever the fucking robot AI thing is yet?
No, I don't.
Oh,
No,
it's so much fun.
I have to look into that.
All right.
All those
You can write some
people,
scripts, write some podcasts.
all them. You know what? You sent me that one script notes episode with Ryan Johnson, and they're playing around with that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
listen to that,
That's
and
fun.
I might have to try that. So that way he can just write all the stuff for us, and
Yeah.
we don't. We blame the AI. The AI. We don't even have to
Sure.
blame ourselves.
Yeah.
But speaking of script notes and Craig Mason.
Nice segue.
Yeah.
Nice
Hey,
segue.
you know what? It's
Yeah.
been a minute, but Daddy still got it. And speaking of Daddy, there's a new Daddy in town,
Mhm.
and his name is Pedro
When did
Gluckman. Neil. I don't know all of them. All of them mixed together. I was trying to combine everyone's names.
the Pedro Pascal daddy talk begin? Was that just from Mandalorian? Was it from Narcos? When
He
when did this
did.
start?
I mean, yeah, he's pretty good at Narcos.
Okay.
Narcos. I think he did like a Vanity Fair interview or something like that. Oh no. It was one of those lie detector shows.
Okay.
And they asked him, "Are you Daddy?" or is I think they asked him if Oscar Isaac was Daddy,
Okay.
and then he said, "No, I'm Daddy," or something.
So he started this himself.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah,
I'm not giving him the satisfaction then.
No. But yeah, we're here. We're here to talk about The Last of Us. This is going to be the episode 1 recap, bringing us back. If this was the Collider days, we'd be on that set, you and me.
Mhm.
It wouldn't be us. It'd be two people who pretended like they played the video game and
Yeah.
they said they're huge fans.
Yeah. We'd
Yeah.
be back cutting cameras for it.
Yeah. And just being upset the whole time. But hopefully we're not upset tonight, because I don't know your reaction. I don't know if you know my reaction. We're going to get into this first episode, talk a little bit why we're fans of the video games in which this show is based off of. And I'll say, too, if you're watching and you've never played the video games, we'll try to not spoil anything from the games.
I
Or
was curious about that.
yeah.
Anyone not play the game who's watching?
You know what? I saw some people in Discord who said
Really?
they've never played the game, and I think they said they know some stuff from
Sure.
it. But I think just for the sake of people watching, we won't say anything specific other than what is spoiled in the first episode
Already.
that we can
Yeah.
kind of like compare and contrast to the video game, because there's quite a few things. Fortunately, not like a whole lot of shot for shot stuff, but just with that going in, and we'll let you know once we get into actual spoilers for this first episode. We'll do some, just like up top first thoughts on the thing, and then just kind of run with it. And then we'll read some of your guys' chats and whatnot and get your guys' thoughts on what you thought on the show. But Cody, going into this game, I know you're a big Last of Us fan.
I don't think I'm a fan
Simp.
of anything. Yeah.
No,
I'd like to moderately enjoy things and just give like approving nods. And I gave a lot of approving nods to the game, I'd say.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's actually true, because even when this game was like remade, it's been remade and re-released 1,000 times. You're not simping for it. You're not buying this game multiple times.
No, I like the game a lot. I think I've played it all the way through twice, I want to say. Like, it's not like I've gone back and replayed it a bunch of times. I just remember really loving it when I did play.
Yeah.
So I've been waiting for the adaptation of this thing.
Yeah.
I was one of the idiots back in the day when it was going to be a movie. I was be like, oh, you got to cast Hugh Jackman as Joel. Is what you got to do. And then I was like, watching this, I'm like, oh, it makes perfect sense why this is a TV show.
Yeah.
Like, this is so much.
Yeah, especially because this first episode's like an hour, and this first episode is the length of a movie, and they fit so much stuff in with his characters. It's like there's no way you can do this all in one movie. I remember. I think I played the game a little late. I didn't play it like when it first released. I think I played it when it was remastered for PS3 because they remastered
PS4.
it.
They remastered the PS4 version.
Okay. Then maybe that's when I first played it. I didn't have a PS3 because I was like an Xbox boy. And and I remember I hearing through osmosis like everyone saying it's such a great game and everything, and playing it was amazing. And I think I remember in I think it was either 2013 or maybe 14 Comic-Con when Sam Raimi was like, "Yeah, I'm producing a Last of Us series." And we were like, oh shit!
And I stood up in the crowd and said, "You gotta cast Hugh Jackman."
Of course, yeah. And then that didn't happen because that was forever ago. And as like many things happen in the Hollywood space, things get announced and they never come to life. But now we do have this show. I think we when we've talked about like them adapting this, I think I recall like some of the things that you were sort of hesitant towards this, in the sense of like, please don't let it be like just the game, like shot for shot.
I mentioned it before. I didn't want it to be a Lion King 2019 situation where it's just like literally the same thing, even though it's a game. So like not everyone watching it would know it. You know what I mean? But like for us knowing it, I'd feel kind of bummed. Yeah. But from what I've heard, they do change a lot of things, and that's kind of what I'm change some things. So I'm kind of looking forward to see what they do and don't change.
Oh yeah, and we'll get into it with this first episode because there are a couple things that already that are like, oh, that's different, cool. I'm on board with that. I like this. I like these like interesting little changes and whatnot. And I agree because I'm looking at it. It's weird because we've all seen like video game adaptations in movies and televisions, and some. Like a lot of people say The Witcher's really good. I've never watched it, never got into it. But like as like a Resident Evil fan and seeing them try to adapt it so many times, it's like it becomes frustrating after a while. And now like just watching this, I almost didn't see it as watching a show based on a video game that I played. It was almost like adapting like a book, and like, oh, this is how they're interpreting this little part, and especially with some certain scenes in like the start of the actual show. I was like, oh, it's cool. It's you kind of nerd out a little bit. It's like it's actually cool and effective to see it like being portrayed on the screen like that. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So with that being said, Cody, is this a shot for shot 2019 Lion King of The Last of Us?
I don't think so. I appreciated just the very, very opening scene, just the talk show thing of the
with Jonathan from The Mummy? Yeah. John Hannon or Hannah?
Wait, which one? Oh, one of the scientists was the guy from The Mummy?
Yeah, he was the brother.
I was distracted by the guy from Silicon Valley, the guy who was hosting the show. But anyway.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
It took me a second to like get used to that because he also didn't have like crazy hair or anything like that.
Yeah, he was playing like a very serious role. I'm like, this is different.
Well, not serious. He was like a really cheesy 60s like looking to the crowd,
talk show host, I guess,
laughing. But no, I saw it was Jonathan. It was it's funny because Amber and I were just watching The Mummy today. So then I watched that, and then of course it's Rachel Weisz's brother from The Mummy.
Oh,
that's who it is.
Yes, that's right. Okay, now it's coming back.
Yeah, he's he's the funny one. So it was cool seeing him, but that opening scene was awesome. Like so cool because when I picture this show like being a thing, I was like, okay, of course the opening scene is the beginning of the video game, and as soon as this scene started, it starts with them like some talk show or just these two scientists talking about viruses and infections and pandemics, very, very timely. And the mummy guy starts talking about like, none of these parasites, none of these things are going to wipe us off. It's going to be fungus. It's going to be fungi. That's the stuff that's going to, he even drops the cordyceps like in there too. So I was like, oh, hey, okay. I would hope that doesn't happen. And of course, if you are familiar with anything in these games, shit's about to go down. And for a moment, I thought, okay, it's going to pick up 20 years later, and then we'll see.
They're not even going to show the beginning.
I thought we were going to see the beginning in flashback, like kind of all throughout the episode. But they played that opening. The first 30, I was texting a buddy of mine, and he texted back, dude, for the first 30 minutes, I couldn't breathe.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
like I love that because in the game that segment feels so freaking short.
Yeah.
Like in the game, it feels like that whole opening moment is like 5 minutes. It's not like because you're walking through towns or driving through towns and shit like that. It takes a while. But like the fact that they space it out so much, like there's like no music for most of it too. It was like I weirdly got slightly different tones, but I weirdly got like the Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead opening vibe from it too.
I got a little bit of that, and I got a little bit of 28 days / 28 weeks later sort of vibes in that. I love that, especially for people that have never played the games and don't know anything. If they're just picking this up and be like, "Oh, cool, let's get to know this daughter character. Let's see what she's about."
Well, just little things are happening in the background. You got ambulances driving by.
Yeah,
random things happening.
Even like I picked up. I don't know if this was like intentional, but like there's just some really good sound work in this because when Sarah, the daughter, and we're getting into the episode, by the way, we're like full on spoilers from here on out for the show. We'll try to just go in like the order of the show and whatnot, but if we jump around, forgive us. By the way, I love this first episode. I don't know if we said it up top.
Good.
Yeah, it's hard to complain about anything from this first episode. Granted, it's the first episode. It could literally go all downhill from here. But as far as this one episode, I think the show is in very, very good hands.
We got a good pilot, guys.
Yes.
We got a good start.
At least. So like specific things like when she's in the classroom and she sees the little shine from the guy's like bracelet or whatever.
Yeah.
And like at first it just looks like he's just like moving his hand, but I was like, wait a minute, is he like twitching? Like
then you hear a cough.
And then I hear the cough in the background, like, oh, that's really cool. I even got like Shaun of the Dead vibes where like Shaun is going throughout the town and some things are kind of going on in the background and whatnot. And so it was that cool sort of like gradual build to what we'd seen in the game. And in the game, it only takes place at the house up until when they get in the truck and drive away. And it's cool to see Sarah actually going to the watch store and getting her dad's watch fixed. Tiny little things like that, building up the neighbors, that creepy ass old woman, that all that stuff, because especially if you know the games, you know what's coming. Like there's no way they're not going to do that. And so it's just like, when is it going to happen? And it's really, bringing in that tension and a good sense of dread all throughout.
Yeah. I thought the old lady was creepier than the first zombie, I guess, you see in the game as well. Because in the game, it's the male neighbor, right? That runs through the door or something like that. Same basically scene happens beat for beat here, just different setting, but like different character. I just thought the creepy old lady was visually interesting.
Especially she just like, she doesn't like jump up and run to the camera in the beginning. She's literally just like sitting there and she starts twitching out a little bit, and it was genuinely pretty creepy. I was like very unsettled by that, and I wasn't really expecting anything like, because the game's when you get into the game, there's some really tense and scary moments, but it's nothing like horrifying. And this was legit like, oh, this is just like, oh, this is unsettling.
Yeah, it brought me this. I mean, it did bring me back to like the tense feeling of the games.
Yeah,
like I remember when I started playing Last of Us 2, I was like, oh fuck, I forgot how like intense this environment is, and this kind of brought me back to that too in the opening. So it's just like, I think they nailed that.
Yeah, I think they nailed that. The whole opening of the game, or of the show, is really good. Pedro Pascal, he has this. From what I get this in this sense, and it's cool kind of character building with him and his daughter, is that like he almost can't like do anything by himself. Like he needs her. Like she's doing all these things for him. He literally has his T-shirt on backwards, and that's just, it's really cool little character things to sort of like foreshadow of what's to come in the rest of the game. And then, goddamn, dude, Diego Luna nails Tommy's voice.
Gabriel Luna.
Did I say Daniel? What did I say?
You said Diego. I think
Diego.
It's Gabriel Luna.
Gabriel Luna. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. He sounds exactly like Tommy from the game.
He does.
It's crazy.
Accent-wise, I think Pedro's was slipping in and out, but Gabriel's was like really good.
Like
that was
perfect.
He nailed the Texas.
Yeah. And so once we finally meet Gabriel Luna, excuse me, not Diego. There's two Lunas.
It's going to happen a lot.
There's Diego and Gabriel Luna. I apologize.
I don't think they're brothers.
No, they're brothers. No.
I don't think they are.
Yeah, so he comes in there. They do the whole birthday thing. I love that Tommy calls him and says he's in jail. That's what gets. So when this happened, because in the game, Tommy and Joel had a falling out. They aren't speaking to each other, right? From what I recall.
I mean, I don't know if it's anything. I don't remember if it's anything but that drastic. He's still in the truck. Like he still picks him up and drives.
Oh no, I'm saying like when they go like 20 years later.
Oh yeah, I believe so.
Because I thought they were setting up. Like I thought Joel was gonna blame Tommy for what happens and stuff because their dynamic is a little bit different. Because we'll jump to that in a second, but once shit starts hitting the fan, and then Tommy and Joel come back. Then we start to get into some like that's straight from the game. A couple lines like when she hands him the watch and they're like joking around with each other, like that's literally ripped from the game, and that's fine. I'm totally cool with that. Like they're not gonna.
The scene worked in the game for a reason.
Yeah, yeah, like, exactly.
Yeah,
you know, they're just like expanding it, and you know, it's not like all of the dialogue is gonna be like straight from the game. And then even when they get in the truck and they're driving away, there's like some specific key moments. The fact that it takes place inside the truck for that first little section. And
the second it started, I was like, "Oh, are they gonna do the entire thing?"
Yeah,
here?
That would have been
fucking ballsy.
Yeah, that would have been sick. But and then like the neighbors come and attack. I love that little detail of like one of the neighbors like yelling for Joel, like what's going on. Yeah. And then when he runs over the neighbor's like, what the fuck, Joel?
And then he gets killed like faintly in the background. Yeah.
And then when they see that it's like created exactly from the game, when he's telling them which freeway to go, like the signs.
Like 71 I know. Right?
Yeah. It's perfect. The house that's burning, that's Jimmy's place. They start to change it up a little bit once they see the traffic jam and they go into town.
Yeah, they go on the grass and shit.
Yeah, they just go straight through the field as opposed to like I think they stop by like a hospital in the opening of the game, and they start getting attacked by the infected. But once they get inside the town, it's just so claustrophobic, and there's a lot more people because like in the game there's a lot of people, but this is like it was like a Friday night and it was a packed town and everybody's losing their goddamn minds. And the subtlety of like the planes when they first start going over, and then you see it in the background and it comes and lands, all good stuff.
Yeah.
All really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
And then we get like, you know, pretty much it goes in. We see some of the infected. I knew we weren't going to see like clickers like right away. It's going to be a gradual build up to that.
They hinted at it a little bit with the old lady when they were like, she's practically deaf, like she can't hear it. So I was expecting the scare to be that like when she's turned, she's gonna hear something, and then that's how she's gonna be like click or whatever. But they hinted at little clicker things.
Yeah, I think I heard some like little like noises from her doing that. Because there's like various stages in the infection, and I think for people that don't know what all this is about, I'm excited for them to see like what the clickers are and the variety of different infected there are. And then we pretty much get like the moment that we were all kind of waiting for, and God damn it,
still hit you the same way.
Fucking still teared up, dude. Yeah. It's so good. It is so good how they are able to capture that. I've seen that scene many times and play it, not just played it. Yeah, like the Ted Lasso divorce. You go back and you just rewatch it. You know.
Watch divorce scenes and death scenes on YouTube, guys. That's what we all do.
You go and you watch it, and it's super sad. It breaks your goddamn heart, and it fucking got me.
It almost hurts more because of how like they knew they were doing this, but because of how much more time you spent with Sarah in the beginning too. Like it hurts, man.
Did you watch the recap after the episode?
No, I turned it off and ran over here.
Okay,
I literally just finished it like 5 minutes before starting.
The actress, she talked about them doing that because she said they didn't rehearse that scene. They just wanted to like do it right then in the moment, and you can kind of feel it too because like it almost seems like Pedro sort of improvs a little bit. He just kind of says like I know, like over and over and over, and that's just like the panic sort of settling in, and it's just freaking heartbreaking. It's a great opener to the show. Starts 20 years later. We go to 2023. I guess that's one of the changes because it was originally in like I think it happened sooner to match up with like 2013 or 20. I don't know what.
Yeah,
I forget what timeline it was. failed on that one. Talk about my complaints on what's not in these, and that's
believable.
We
didn't get to the spores.
Oh, wait till we get this. Listen, Cody, let's just bring it up right now, okay? Spores will not be in this video game and in this TV series, and I'm upset.
You're drawing the line here. No matter how great the pilot was for you.
Listen,
like it's just the idea of it.
Forget character, forget story,
forget
emotion.
Reasons for making these decisions. No.
Do you know the whole point of the game is the spores? If the spores aren't in this series, how is the game going to work? That's how we find out things.
Yeah.
People are dumb. But yeah. So then we catch up. We see the little boy. They take him in. This poor little fucking kid.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah. Super heartbreaking. Yeah, we're gonna give you all the toys you want. Because I was confused, not confused, but I was like, red means bad, right? Because he shows the device.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's that? I thought it was like a Firefly kind of thing. Like, oh, they're gonna take him in, and then Joel's burning bodies with some woman. She can't do it. I like this
selling drugs.
Yeah, I like this is a little bit. I mean, we don't really see. We know that he's like a smuggler in the game, but we see him sort of coping just living, and he's just drinking himself, doing drugs like crazy. He's dealing drugs to one of the security guards. And we see sort of his motivation now is he's trying to get out of town to go see Tommy, to like find him because he's lost contact. And that's one of the departures from the game because
I think so. I think you're right. Yeah.
I think in the game, when they meet up with each other, or Joel has a line saying like, the last thing my brother said is, if I ever see you again, I'm going to kill you, or something like that. So that's a little bit of a departure. He's still in Wyoming, and that's like his goal overall. That's like his motivation for doing anything and everything and smuggling. We meet Tess. I forgot it was played by Anna Torv, which is awesome. She's great. She was in Mindhunter. Have you ever saw that?
Really?
Yeah.
No, I never watched Mindhunter. Yeah.
Oh, she's fantastic.
Okay.
But she's great as Tess. Like, she just like shows up and she's already like beat to shit. She just looks like she's been through it all. The guy who plays Robert, he's been in a couple of things. He specifically, I remember him from Freddy vs. Jason. He was like one of the main characters, of course. But it was cool. Like all these characters from the games are starting to like pop up because like Robert was like a sneevling little asshole that would like double cross Joel and Tess and whatnot. And then we kind of just get a nice little world building of the town that they're in. I don't know if they're in specifically Boston, or are they in Boston? They are in Boston. Okay, all right. Because I was confused at first. I thought when the little boy showed up, I thought it was like a different territory, and then the body got brought over. But they're in Boston.
No, I'm assuming, yeah.
All right, cool. And then we meet Ellie. We finally meet Ellie. How do you feel about Bella Ramsey playing Ellie?
She was good. I was a little surprised the amount. How am I phrasing this? I thought we'd get more of her in the first episode, but I mean, it's gonna be a long fucking season.
Yeah,
she seems fine for the role. She's gonna be great.
Yeah, but, I think so too. She's very reserved, but she still has that. The second that she interacts with Joel, I was like, there it is. It's there. Yeah. It's fucking there. Like so they capture that so wonderfully.
Without saying anything, just the thing with the knife.
Yeah,
you know? It's just like little visual moments.
Nice little back and forth. I mean, the first thing that I think Ellie like does and says, she says the F word like in her like first line of dialogue, and even the way she says like "you motherfucker," like it's like a child trying to curse, because that's kind of like Ellie.
It did feel weird at first. Yeah.
But I think that works, because that's sort of how Ellie is. Like, she's trying to be like tough and all these things, but she's just a kid. I think her introduction was great, and the way they reveal the thing with her is straight out of the game, except the only thing that it ties into the security guard that Joel was dealing drugs with, which I thought was a nice little touch. But
that was a nice touch.
We'll get to that.
He was pissing. You know, guards have to piss too.
I thought that was funny too, because like the piss shoots like straight up in the air. Poor guy. But yeah, I thought Bella Ramsey was great. We meet Marlene, who's I think like the only actor from the video game that plays their character.
Same character.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
And she was great too. There's great motivations all around. It's cool seeing the Fireflies doing their thing. They're terrorism or not terror. They're labeled as terrorists, but
you just look for that light, Christian. You
just look for the light.
In the darkness.
Yeah,
that's all you got to do.
It's dark all around. Yeah,
they're just the flashlight for you. I have a question. In the game, do they drop Frank and Bill's name that early?
Maybe Bill. No, actually, I don't think so. No,
because in the game they just come across them, right? Or they come across Frank, right?
They come across Bill,
whichever one it is. Yeah,
Frank's only ever mentioned via Bill.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think, I don't think they're mentioned like up top. But I think that's cool. I think the nice little kind of through line, they're setting it up a little bit.
Thought that was a nice little Easter egg. Yeah.
Yeah. They only mentioned Bill like once they get, I think like after they go to like the first location. Because Allie's like, where do we go now? I know somebody, Bill. He'll help us out, or he owes me a favor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But it's nice. I think they might actually like show Frank, because Frank in the game is.
Apparently that episode is like the best one from all the reviews.
Did the whole season get reviewed? Like, they got to see the whole thing?
At least I know a couple critics saw the whole thing.
Oh, great, awesome. I mean,
I know Rolling Stones. The critic there saw the whole thing, and then I forget which other one.
God damn. Well, they are confident then. They're very, very confident. Yeah, and then Abby shows up, which is kind of strange. Could you imagine? I mean, I'd be down for it, but like, God, like how
I'm not gonna say it, but like I kept thinking, like, how funny would it be if they did the opening of the second game in this first season of the show, the first episode of the show,
just to piss people off,
just to watch the world burn. That would have been fucking insane.
Anyway. Oh yeah, absolutely. More on that later. Nice little Bill and Frank reference. Some more banter between Ellie and Joel, where she figures out his sort of coding little system, the 60s, the 70s, and 80s that plays into. I think I had to look up the song that plays at the end, but we can like talk about that. But yeah, I think like just the overall like environment that is being set up, just the towns that they're in, it's straight out of the video game. Everything matches like perfectly.
It's so cool because like it's so expensive. You know what I mean? Like those sets are never going to be used again. No, like the whole show is them on a journey across the country. So like they didn't waste, but they spent all this money on all these insane sets. And like, for like 2-minute scenes. Like, I think it's just really, really cool that they spent that much money on this thing.
Well, that's the thing too, is the fact that they did spend money. Like I mentioned Resident Evil earlier, and like, you know, like the most recent Resident Evil movie. I don't want to dunk on it too much, but it's just like it feels like cheaper versions of like sets just for the sole purpose of replicating the game. Like, no, this is actually like capturing everything about it, so that way you can really get invested to the point where like I was like, oh, I'm so glad it's raining. Because I remember in the game and it's raining outside too, which is it fit perfectly.
I'm worried if you're gonna hear it. We'll see what happens. It's pouring out here.
But yeah, all that stuff, all the environment, all the sort of language that they kind of given everybody. Like I love that they have like a guy that works the radio, and people are going in just to like reach out to family members to see if they're like out there and whatnot. I'm trying to think what else like that really
I know that
out.
Like I felt silly because the whole time in my head I thought this episode was going to end on something that hasn't happened yet. So it's like I'm trying to dance around it, but like, so when this ended, I was like, oh, that makes more sense. And again, this makes more sense why it's a TV show. You can spread this shit out. Like if you would have ended it where at this other moment with the three of them, I would have been like, oh, that would have felt maybe too rushed and all in one episode. So it's kind of, I don't know. I trust these people. It seems like it's going in a good direction so far.
Yeah, I think I know what you're referring to. But I in the back of my mind, I was like, are they going to end with Ellie's reveal? Like, is that
which makes so much more sense to end it with that? Yeah.
And I'm glad it wasn't like they see her arm and she's like, I'm not infected, and like just cuts to black. You're like, whoa! It lets it happen, and then they have to hurry up and get out of there. I wish we could. I mean, that whole sequence in the game is cool because you're running away from the guys. So it's like, I mean, we got enough. There's enough like action and like stuff going on in this. You don't need like every little bit, but
not a whole lot of. I'm just going to call them zombies for the sake of the repeating. But like, not a whole lot of zombies in this first one.
No.
Which, understandable. Again, it's a TV show. Those things are expensive. But
I'm
assuming
thinking
the second one is going to be just knowing where they're going.
Yeah. I think it's going to open up. I think they're like, listen, I know this is like a quote unquote zombie show, infected show. We're gonna give you all of that in the opening because it's the opening is so intense, and then once we get into the actual story, let's give them some time to breathe, get to know where the world is at this point, and then just wait till episode 2. You're gonna get your clicker.
I think the name of the second episode is literally Infected.
Yeah,
I think it's called Infected. So yeah,
I think we're gonna be good. That's one thing I am curious because I know clickers will be in it, and I think in the trailers they showed the bloaters. But there's also, well, the second game they introduced like stalkers and like I think other ones, but I'm trying to remember what other infected there are.
I don't remember the names. I think total there's like what 4 or 5.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot
if you count both games.
Yeah,
it's
like not a huge
styles
variety.
that you have to. Yeah.
I mean, getting the clickers alone, it's such a cool freaking design. So I'm stoked to see. I'm stoked to see like how practical it will be, if it's practical at all.
Yeah.
They do run into, I don't know, I forget what they call it exactly. Just when like the infected
stuck to the wall.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I
forget.
Definitely not spores.
No.
Don't get me started on the spores. They don't even have they go out there with no masks. It just doesn't make sense. Oh, okay. We don't want a show about masks.
You get it now.
Yeah,
no,
that's
too much controversy.
I did geek out a little bit. Just when Tess and Joel, it's like raining. They break into one door, and just Joel leans down and throws his backpack over, and he goes into it. Just tiny little. I don't know.
I need them to go to a workbench and be like, I gotta build this knife.
I'm calling it right now. We're getting at least a whole episode where Joel is picking up a goddamn like beam of wood and just like carrying it across. I hope when like they swim, it's the most awkward thing ever because swimming in those games sucks.
I want a 30-minute segment of just them bringing like the plywood or the wood thing and just have them floating. That'd be great.
I do want to talk more about like what we expect from the show. Just real quick,
like moments you're looking forward to.
But as far as like going through the episode, Ellie, Tess. I like that little. I mean, it's not really a huge change, but the interaction with Marlene, Tess, Joel, and Ellie is slightly different because I think in the game, Tess is hired by Marlene.
I forget
because I think Tess finds out about Ellie's condition, which spoilers, Ellie is immune to the cordyceps. Like she got bit. There's a Riley name drop, which is cool.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I think they're doing an episode on that story too.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I think that's perfect. That's awesome. So that's a little bit different, but it all works out. Like you don't need to draw out the whole Robert storyline because you literally, it's like the first mission in the game, and you don't see any infecting. You're just like killing dudes.
It got to the point where they dropped the Robert name in this, and I was like, who the fuck was Robert again? Like, cause that was just such a quick throwaway thing in the first game anyway. So it's cool that they got rid of it.
That section was just to show you the sort of brutality of what you're capable of, and I think they did a pretty good job of showing what Joel is capable of in towards the end of the episode.
It's got those fists.
It's got those fists. Tess is just like, fuck it, like this is all we have right now. Marlene is in charge of the Fireflies. She'll get him. She'll get Joel whatever he needs and wants. And then they sneak out. They get stopped by the guard that Joel had sold his.
He was just sitting there trying to pee.
Just trying to piss.
Like, God damn it.
Trying to piss.
Fireflies.
And great moment when he looks at the light, it flashes, and he sees the moment that happened with his daughter, and he just fucking loses it. Yeah. So cool. Because I think just like Tess shoots him in the game, and then they just move on. But even the little detail too of him checking their temperature. When Tess is like, really? Are we seriously doing this? And he's like, I'm doing it by the book. And it's just like, oh, I know it. And Ellie knows it. And that's when we find out she's red. She's immune. And
I might. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No. Yeah, go ahead.
I might be looking into it too much just based on what we know. But like when Joel's beating the shit out of the guy and Ellie watches, I kind of I was like, is that a hint to who she's going to become eventually?
It is.
Like the second game, you know what I mean?
It absolutely
like being influenced by that.
In the recap, that's exactly what Craig made.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
He says like it mirrors when Sarah sees her dad kill the first infected with the wrench. She starts crying and she's afraid because she's seen like, oh, I don't know that. Like for a moment, she's like, oh, I don't know who this man is, and it's kind of scary. But when Ellie sees Joel do it, she kind of likes it. She's like, this, I like someone defending me this way. So yeah, it's okay. And he also says like that's the beauty of like their togetherness. Like, you know, like that's what makes them such a good match for each other. But you know, it's gonna lead to some problems as well. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good catch. Yeah, because that's definitely what they intended.
I'm so excited. I'm stoked for the season, but I'm like so curious how they're gonna do the second game. I'm like, that's so interesting. Just pacing wise.
Yeah.
Like, how are you gonna structure this season? We'll get to that after the season finale here. We'll get there.
Well, that's the thing. Are they even planning for? I mean, I would imagine so.
I have a feeling at least this pilot episode is going to do really well views wise.
Yeah.
I'm especially with like critical acclaim. I would imagine they're going to do a season 2 probably in a few years, not soon, but I'd imagine they would.
It seems like because like if you think about the scope without spoiling anything of what we know from the games of how big this will be, like this could be like, especially toward like certain moments from the game could be like Red Wedding level, like crazy reactions from people.
If it get, if the audience and stuff gets to that point, I could totally get that insane.
And also I know how controversial The Last of Us Part 2 is. And this is coming from a person who is a big fan of that game.
Yeah.
Very much enjoyed it. And I like the decisions that they made. They also don't necessarily have to do that story, or at least right away, because The Last of Us Part 2, I picked it up today again. Not picked it up, but you know, I just started replaying it. I bought it again. They released that one too. I think I started after they re-released the Last of Us remastered version for PS5. I started Part 2 right afterwards, and then I got distracted playing another game, so I just picked it up playing it again. And like I'm still on Ellie's storyline, and I'm like 11 hours in. You can literally split
that one. You can break that
into multiple.
If you really wanted to. Yeah.
If you think about it, like Game of Thrones split like $2 per season or something like that until they ruined it. Whatever. But
we'll think about that when we get there, I guess. But that's just something else I can't help but think about. Like, what the hell are they going to go with that?
Yeah, it'll be very curious. It'll be at least, they could either come up with something different for season 2 or at least build up to it. Because that's what's also interesting, too, is that, like, are they going to do a Last of Us Part 3? And will that be, like, the conclusion? Like, where I know they're, like, working on, like, a multiplayer game, but, like, what else?
I think they are. I think they are making a third one. I think so, they're starting to slowly. I think Neil was giving slight hints. Saying, like, the story isn't over. They're always open for a new story for it or something like that. I forget what it was. But there was a quote recently where I was like, oh, he's fucking making another one.
Yeah, I saw one quote because someone was like, what are you guys working on next?
Yeah.
And Neil had said, we've learned from the past because we announced Last of Us Part 2 way too early, and we learned from that, and so we're not doing that again. So we're going to announce it when we know it's going to come out and all that stuff, which is smart. Yeah, I think it's
I
good.
Wish video games would like wait until like the movie cycle where it's like you have months before it comes out, then you announce it. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if you think movie titles get pushed back in release dates, video games takes the cake. I can't. How many times like The Last of Us was pushed? Like
still waiting on Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2
hopefully this year.
Supposed to come out this year. So video games are always getting pushed back. But I'm very curious to see where like they could take it, and who knows? Like they could change up. I don't see them changing certain things from the first game for this first season. For all we know, the ending of the first game could be like halfway through this season. I don't know.
How wild would that be?
That'd be crazy,
It's like the end of the pilot.
Well, like how many episodes is there? Is there 10?
There's 9, I think.
9? Okay.
I think I saw it recently.
Round it up, 9. Man. What's with the bear was like 9?
I think they initially wanted 10, but I think they cut it back to 9, so maybe they had to do. Oh, there was directing drama with the pilot, I think.
Oh, so I thought Neil had directed the first episode too.
No, he did. He did the second one. I think.
Okay.
But I think I might be totally wrong on this, but I believe they got the guy who directed Chernobyl.
Oh, I think Craig Mazin directed the first episode.
No. Let me get there.
Oh.
They got the Chernobyl guy to direct the pilot, and then I think he had to bail for scheduling reasons or something like that. And then they hired another guy and I want to say he shot the episode or part of the episode, and then wasn't a part of it anymore.
Oh,
so that's when I think Craig came in as director. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But
what is it with
turned out great?
What is it with HBO and pilots always having trouble? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, isn't that the story that Craig was the one who told Game of Thrones people to reshoot it, the pilot?
Oh, is it? I know that they reshot it. I think
he's the reason. He's
shit!
Like he gave the note to the guys. I want to say.
Whoa, Craig.
I think that is true.
Ooh, coming in hot.
Yeah.
He came in and he's like, I know what to do. Interesting.
Anyway, moments from the first game. Okay, that's where I was going.
Yes.
That we were excited for without getting too far into it. The Frank and Bill stuff I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that's my favorite section in the entire first game. That whole neighborhood sequence.
Obviously the end, and then I think, without saying much, the snow stuff I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, and I know they're in the show, Sam and Henry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. People aren't fucking ready.
Yeah.
People are not ready for this
like
shit.
Again,
man.
like shit that we know, like I'm warning, like what do they change anything that are super like well known? Like that's what I'm interested in them changing. Not like little details here and there. Like would they take a big swing and change something from that scene? You know what I mean? Like that section.
Maybe.
I'm very curious.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. No. I mean, I'm all for it. Like we were saying, it doesn't need to be exactly. Have your moments where that's straight from the game, so people can put side by sides up on YouTube and get excited for it. But also just continue to tell like this good story, and they have plenty of material to draw that from, and like characters that we like meet, because this is a for those who don't know, The Last of Us is a road trip game. Like they're constantly running into characters. They're never really staying with certain people for more than in the game, a couple hours, depending on how fast you get through them. But it's kind of in chunks. You meet people, then move on. Meet people, move on. And so you could draw that out even more. It could be a lot quicker. Or like you were saying, they could change it up where like certain characters go with them on this journey.
Yeah.
See,
I'm excited.
We'll see. Especially like if they. Like Riley has mentioned, I think you said there's a full episode on it. Like it just
I know they cast
it's a Storm Reed.
I forgot her name. I think it's her. Yeah. So I'm assuming there's an episode about it.
I think when seeing one of the trailers that Melanie Linsky is in this movie too.
Yes.
In the show.
In the show, yeah. I don't.
Like, who the hell does she play?
I think she plays a new addition to the story. I think.
Okay.
From what I recall.
And I do know that Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson. I know they're in the show too. They're playing.
Yeah. Do you know who Ashley plays?
No.
Okay, I'm not gonna tell you. Yeah.
Who the fuck is she?
It's not like a.
She just plays like a clicker.
No.
I know that Joel is playing like some random like. I know he's playing like a character, but he's like playing like. I think he says like, my guy's not so much a nice guy. I was like, oh, are you one of the snow people? Are you one of the? That'd be fucking.
Might be. I think
that'd be crazy.
I think he is actually.
Like the Nolan North.
Not the main dude.
Okay,
he's not the main dude. But I think he's one of the snow people.
Because the main snow guy is Nolan North, right?
In the game, yeah.
In the game, okay, all right.
Yeah.
That'd be funny if it was him too, like just popping up, like all these like Naughty Dog characters popping in there.
Yeah.
But excited to see where they go with that. Because like the game itself is pretty goddamn amazing, but the game has its like a little annoyances like here and there. Just as I think maybe I'm just complaining as far as like gameplay. There's a couple like some repetitive stuff.
We've mentioned it. Yeah, we've talked before. Like the gameplay of 2 is so much better than the gameplay of 1.
Yeah.
And like but 1's the more like iconic game. You know what I mean? But like it's just a little choppy game.
I'm curious to see like how they handle that, because like how they handle like, are they gonna do like certain situations where there's no infected and they just have to deal with humans and they're sneaking around?
Yeah.
Are they gonna do the fucking the hearing thing where like they can hear them through the wall?
You see like silhouettes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. I'm very excited about this.
But still, no spores.
God damn it.
There's no goddamn spores. I do want to hear from some of the people in the chat. We do have some people chatting with us. Let me read through.
Tyler, yes, we're going to do commentaries. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just
I was tempted. I was like, should we do a commentary on all these? But I want to like sit and experience them.
Yeah,
every single week.
I want to do a first time commentary on it.
No, I need to like take all this in. Let me see. Yeah, commentaries will be back. No worries on that. Wiley Todd sent in a super chat. Thanks, Wiley. I love the game and now the show, the perfect adaptation, and that needle drop. I might watch the episode again. Did you watch it with Marissa, or you watched it by yourself?
I did. And that leads into another point I wanted to bring up. The people who haven't played the game, I mean, from what we got here, they like the episode. I'm curious how it's going to go as the season goes along. I got the sense from Marissa that she was just like, oh yeah, that was good. Like it wasn't like amazing. So I'm very curious of like how it's going to go.
Yeah, I think Amber did. I watched it without her. I was like, I can't wait for you. She was like in the other room going, I have to watch this like right now. I don't think she has that much interest. She knows of the game, maybe for better or for worse for me, because I'm just like,
yeah, I know, but Marissa's probably annoyed of me talking about it, but yeah.
Amber is just like, oh, is that the one with the daughter in the opening? Oh, that's sad. Okay. and then
okay. I get it. Yeah.
Okay. Red Wolf sent in a super chat. Thank you, Red Wolf. I yelped and cried a bit when the theme kicked in. That was cool. That's cool too that they just kept that for the show. There's no reason to change that. And even,
I think that guy's doing the score overall, right?
Overall? Oh yeah, that's perfect. I think even like the opening title sequence is, I can't remember if it's like the loading screen title sequence or something, I don't know, but just the graphical design of everything and how it's all laid out is pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
Wiley sent another super chat also. Thanks, Wiley. I liked Last of Us Part 2, but never liked Abby at all. It tried to get me to care after what she did, but I never got there. But overall, I like the game. That is an interesting thing to bring up because part of the effectiveness of that game is literally playing Abby, I think. I don't hate her as like a character. I think what they decided to do with her and the circumstances around that, you can love it or hate it. I think it was a good choice because after all, like, I think after playing the first game, it's like, this is kind of Ellie's story at the end, and we're just picking up with that. And, people could be upset. It's fine. But again, it's that curiosity of like, if the show continues, where do they go with this? Do they go straight into The Last of Us Part 2? Do they eventually build up to that? And because this is sort of like a Game of Thrones situation where it's like they don't have like the last half or whatever,
Yeah.
So it's like, they can probably take a whole lot from this. I don't know. Yeah. We'll definitely see. Depends on how much Daddy wants to be in the show, I guess, too. Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tyler Werner says, my girlfriend who watches The Walking Dead doesn't want to watch The Last of Us because it's just another zombie show. Tyler, listen up, buddy. I dropped off on The Walking Dead the first time they killed Glenn, I guess. It's just like, I can't do this anymore. It's just too much. Not just like it's too much, I can't handle it. It's just like, I understand.
I don't think I can do a show that long at all.
It's too long. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like cap it after 5 or 6 seasons.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Even with this show, like I would be down if they're like, hey, we're doing 3, 4, maybe 4 seasons. And in the last season, we're going to wait for the last game to come out. So give us some time or whatever so we can like adapt that or whatever.
Well, because of that, I think if they were to do, like, for example, in the second game, Ellie's older, right? So I feel like they're going to wait years in between doing the season. I think that actually helps them in case they do more games and stuff like that. They have the benefit of time.
I think there's more stories because the second game takes place like 10 years later, like not 10, but maybe like 5 or 8 years later or something like that.
Yeah, like 5 years.
So like if they wanted to tell a story in between that, I think they can easily come up with, there's so much to play with in this world. You can, again, depending on how the series ends, there's a dynamic between Ellie and Joel that they can explore even further than they do in the second game.
Yeah.
Where the two of them are almost just like not speaking to each other and they have to like sort of regain that friendship that they, or that, surrogate daughter, surrogate father sort of relationship that they eventually have in the game. Who knows if we'll see. I don't know.
Manny thinks Abby's going to show up in the finale, by the way. And Manny's calling it.
I mean, listen, so in the first game, they retcon only one tiny little thing. And it's not even like a retcon. They just like remember this person? Actually, they're important.
Yeah.
And I think maybe if anything, there would be a name drop.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we'll get at least a name or some sort of reference. Yeah.
Because this would be like not to bring up The Walking Dead again, but like not knowing if your show is going to be successful or not. Because like in The Walking Dead season 2, the very end of the season, Michonne shows up, but she was like in silhouette. She's never shown. Yeah. They didn't cast her yet, so it could be something. Abby will show up in silhouette, like with the Arthur meme with the fist, just like ready for revenge.
You see the sleeveless tee or something.
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
Or to bring up, I brought up Mindhunter earlier. They set up something in those first 2 seasons that unfortunately may not ever happen because the show it's not in existence anymore. But they set up these little vignettes of like the beginning of every other episode. They could set up Abby at the end of this season and tease her for like 4 seasons.
That'd be so funny.
And then people will really fucking hate her.
Yeah. Just can't avoid her for like a year.
Yeah. And honestly, the whole thing with Abby too, it could play better on television if we spend more time with Joel, because I think that's one of their complaints is like, really, he put his guard down? You don't deserve,
We'll see. Well, again, that's season 2. We got to worry about episode 2 first and foremost.
All right.
Let's see where they're going to go after this.
Slen182 says, I think Ellie is 14 in part 1 and 19 in part 2. So yeah,
that sounds right.
Some stuff that they can do in there, like their hometown is in Jackson. Yeah, Jackson. So it's like that's a whole community that they would have to like defend.
That section I'm looking forward to in this season as well.
Yeah. Oh,
just seeing that
the
world.
dam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some cool shit. Pittsburgh stuff.
We'll see how it goes. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what else.
Do you think we'll get a giraffe?
Oh, yeah. Shit, we might even get we might even get the dinosaur museum.
Oh,
because that's part of this.
People have no idea what we're talking about. Like, there's fucking dinosaurs. What are you talking about?
Because that's when Ellie was young. Yeah, it's a nice little moment between the two. If they start to get along with each other, they can definitely pull some stuff from the flashbacks in part 2. Guitar work? Is she going to be playing guitar? Is she going to get her first tattoo? I don't know. That's the Easter egg. Ellie's going to be like, I really want tattoos on my arm to cover up the bite. Yeah. So if we're getting the Left Behind DLC as a whole thing, I'm sure they can rip some stuff from episode 2. But yeah, thumbs up. I'm a fan. I'm looking forward to this first season. And I hope it's good. I'm gonna end this and go play Last of Us Part 2 and just be miserable for fucking 20 hours, just killing all these people. God damn. Any final thoughts, Cody, on the Last of Us season premiere?
I'm keep trying to think of where 2's going to end, and I'm just like, Cody, stop it. Just enjoy it. They know what they're doing. Just watch the damn show.
Yeah. And also too, if they have 9 episodes, like this first episode was an hour and 20. I imagine everything else will be like an hour, 50 something minutes, but that finale could be a pretty long finale.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes on. Very excited, very curious, and very curious to hear what you all think about The Last of Us premiere. Thank you for those that actually watched live with us here. Appreciate every single one of you. Leave a comment down below your thoughts on The Last of Us season premiere. What do you think? Speculate. What do you think is going to happen in this season? Are you going to adapt? Is Abby going to show up? Let us know.
Don't spoil anything though for anyone who hasn't played it. Right?
Nothing.
Dance
no big
around
moments.
Them spoilers.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this moment. Wink. Ooh, Tyler Werner says episode 3 is 80 minutes. So
80 minutes.
Let's fucking go.
I think that's about what this one was as well, right? Wasn't this one like 81 or 82? Yeah.
And don't worry, Tyler. Guarantee you commentaries are not done. We're going through some stuff right now. We're going to get you there. I promise. So yeah, leave a comment down below. Hit the like button. If you're brand new, you've never seen us before, subscribe. It very much helps us out. Join the Patreon. Do all those things. More stuff for you all soon. And if you want to listen to this on audio or any of the other stuff of the Wanger Show, check us out on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Ahoy, all that stuff. Thank you all. Appreciate you. See you next time. Yeah, see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye.
Love you, Albert.